Welcome to the video lecture series of Project Development and Resource Management. Course code MC301, Contact Tower 4, Credit 4, Welcome to the video lecture series of Project Development and Resource Management. Course code MCE301, Contact Tower 4, Credit 4. This is lecture 12. Myself, Dr. Shunipa Roy, Head of the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Guru Nanak Institute of Technology. Here we will discuss Module 3. Module 3 consists of cost classification, fixed cost, variable cost, semi-variable cost, cost of capital, capital budgeting. Budgeting means master budget, concept of taxes, direct and indirect taxes. So the lesson plan for today's lecture is cost classification, fixed cost, variable cost, semi-variable cost, cost of capital. So let us start with classification of cost. The term cost itself is without any significant meaning, and therefore it is always advisable to use it with an adjective or phrase such as prime, direct, indirect, fixed, variable, controllable, opportunity cost, and etc. So it is suggested always to use some adjective with the term cost. In order to ascertain, control, manage, forecast, and interpret cost, the elements of cost must be classified. The elements of costs are material, labor, and other expenses. That means the cost depending on the material purchased, the cost depending on the labor employed, the cost depending on the other expenses. It may be carrying cost, contingency cost, etc. So we can make a chart of classification of cost according to nature and function. Second one is according to the identifiable, and third one is according to behavior. So according to nature and function, that is nature is first one and function is second one. This is nature, this is function. Again, nature can be classified in material, labor, and other expenses. Other expenses means wages, salaries, depreciation, utility, etc. Similarly, the function has different identifiable, that is production costs, selling cost, administrative cost, and research and development cost. That is whatever function have been applied in the organization, depending on the function, the cost can be classified. Production unit has some production cost. Selling unit has some selling cost because for the publicity, for the employing faculties, selling unit has separate cost. Administrative cost is overall for administration. Any organization has to employ several manager, deputy manager. So that is the administrative cost. And research and development cost means if this is a production unit, then more research and development R&D work is required to survive in the market. So for that, they should depute senior or experienced R&D member or R&D the employee who can do the research properly. So the salary of that employee may be included in R&D cost. According to the identifiable, there are two types of cost, that is direct cost and indirect cost. We will discuss in later section. And according to behavior, that is variability, this can be classified as fixed cost and variable cost. So classification of cost, if we go for further study in this classification of cost, then according to nature and function, in our earlier slide, we have got according to nature and function. So now we will discuss in detail about it. So according to nature and function, the classification is the basis of the recording system. So uniform accounting system should be there. Uniform accounting system means cost accountant, other accounts, income statement accounts, cost accounts, other accounts, income statement accounts, balance sheet accounts. All these are in the category of according to nature and function. And according to uniform accounting system, the costs are to be recorded on the basis of function and nature. So according to nature, if we go further, we find three different types of cost. First one is material cost, second one is labor cost, and third one is other expenses, as it is mentioned in the chart shown earlier. So what is material cost? Cost of materials used for the manufacture of a product, a particular work order or provision of a service. All the raw materials are material cost. Example, cloth for making a dress or wood in furniture or desk, cotton in textiles. That is, wood is required to make the furniture, cloth is required to making the dress, and cotton is required for textile. All these are material cost. That means it means that the raw material that is required for a production unit, that falls on material cost. So material cost involves not only raw material cost, but also the material used for a service is called material cost. Example, cooking material for catering or stationery. Cooking material that is required for catering. Then office suppliers, cleaning materials for repair and lubricant. This is also the material cost, because to maintain the office neat and clean, cleaning materials are required. For printer, say cartridge is required. So all these are in the category of material cost, what a company or organization need to be purchased. So second type of cost is labor cost. Labor cost is defined as the total expenditure incurred from employers in order to employ workers. And labor cost is all labor expended in altering the construction or composition of the product. So this is very easy to understand that every unit, it must employ their workers. Workers are actually the key person of an organization. So if they work hard, then only company or organization rise. And if they they don't work seriously, then the company growth may hamper. So labor cost is direct wages that is mentioned in the earlier slide. Direct wages means the wages of labor which can be identified wholly to a particular job, product or process in converting raw materials into finished goods. It may also be defined as prime labor cost, process labor cost, operating labor cost, manufacturing labor cost, etc. So direct wages means the wages of labor which can be identified wholly to a particular job, product or process in converting raw materials into finished goods. So prime labor cost means initial cost, that is the labor required to purchase the raw material from the market, that is prime labor cost. And after that, process labor cost is the labor, those who are manufacturing the product, the processing the raw material, though they are process labor, and the cost that is needed, the remuneration or whatever extra others that is needed to maintain them, that is fall under the labor cost, or rather process labor cost category. So operating labor cost is the operating of machine. For the proper operation of machine, labors are required, that is operating labor cost. And manufacturing labor cost is the cost that is required for manufacturing unit. So all these are mainly labor cost, mainly related to the wages actually, or remuneration or salary of the workers. So labor cost include the direct costs linked to work carried out, such as wages, salaries, vacation, payment, and other benefits. Benefits are also included in the labor cost. And labor costs also include indirect costs such as social benefits, vocational and training cost. All these are also fall under the category of labor cost, because to make them understand, to prepare a manager, they need to go several need to attend several training and need to go the process of training, and for that that is training cost, that means that. So all these are under the category of labor cost. And what is other expenses? Expense is defined as money expended or cost incurred in a firm's efforts to generate revenue representing cost of doing business. So again, I am repeating that expense, other expenses means the expense is defined as money expended or cost incurred in a firm's efforts to generate revenue representing cost of doing business. They may be in the form of actual cash payments or a computed expired portion of an asset. They may be in the form of actual cash payment, such as wages and salaries, or a computed expired portion depreciation of an asset. Depreciation means, what is called depreciation? Actually, say you are using, a company has given you a car, a new car, and you are using that car. So after 5 years, the car is not at par, and the price that was purchased, the car was purchased, say 5 lakh, but when after 5 years, when you are going to sell the car, you will get near about 3 lakh. So there is a loss. So why this loss? Because there is a depreciation. The quality of car, the life of car has been depreciated. So this depreciation cost should be considered. Or in a factory, say a labor working is working with a machine. So machine at the stage of early stage, the machine is working good, but after 10 years or 15 years, the machine is not working so happily. So the thing is that there is a depreciation, there is a aging. Depreciation is related to aging. So the life of machine is getting reduced. So that is the depreciation cost that should be considered. And further examples are rent, telephone exchange, telephone expenses, insurance, lightning, oil and gas, fees paid to consultant, depreciation. Other expenses involve overheads such as manufacturing overhead, administration overhead, and selling overhead, etc. And overhead means, say, you are using a chair, table, or you are using a room. Uh, so that room is not of you, but you are utilizing the room to carry out your project or work or business. So that room is actually, so that is the overhead. Overhead charge should be given to the uh, actual owner, so that they can allow to continue the work in that room or building. This is not rent. Overhead is not the rent, but it is a charge that is to be paid the concerned authority for continuing the work in their premises. So according to function, uh, cost can be classified as production cost, selling and distribution cost, administrative cost, and research and development cost. So I repeat, functional classification can be treated as production cost, selling and distribution cost, administrative cost, research and development cost. Functional classification of cost defines how the cost was applied, that is for manufacturing, administration, or selling. Functional classification expresses that the business performs various functions for which costs are incurred. Just purchasing a material, buying a machine, creating a building, or taking a room for a rent, and deputing some labor, that will not fulfill the business strategy or business structure. So there are different various type of function that need to be considered other than this, and for that various function the cost incurred is there. So different types of cost are required, has to be taken care of for a business party for various functions. So here we can see the four different structure of cost. Functional cost. Functional classification is also important in giving an opportunity to the management to calculate the efficiency of departments performing various functions in the firm. So then functional classification is important, obviously. Uh, So functional classification, different agents, different department are performing their different type of function, and functional classification is needed to identify the which department working in which area, and to excel the departmental capability. This functional classification is very much required. So production or manufacturing cost are all production costs incurred to manufacture the products and to bring them to a saleable condition, including direct materials, direct labor, and indirect manufacturing cost. So production and manufacturing cost is basically the production cost to manufacture the product, and that is to make it sellable in the market. And for that, materials are required, labors are required, some indirect costs are also there. So all are included in this production and manufacturing cost. Similarly, selling cost are the costs of marketing function. Distribution costs include expenditure incurred in packing, unpacking, and transporting activities. That is, distribution cost, I repeat, include expenditure incurred in packing, unpacking, and transporting activities. Similarly, selling cost as the cost of marketing function. Before, actually, when a company want to sell its product, then the company need the publicity. So for that publicity, actually different media can be hired, and by paying those media, publicity can be done. So that is the selling cost, to pay the media. Third one is administrative cost. Administrative cost is the cost of formulating the policy, directing and controlling the business activities, which is not related directly to a production, selling and distribution, research or development activity or function. So administrative cost is all for policy making mainly. So this is not related directly to a production, obviously. Selling and distribution also, and research and